Players just about that anyone knows.
Basically, the decision was made, and we sat down after 3 games, and we entrusted all of our scouts and development people and upper-level baseball people and said, what can we do to possibly start this to turn around? What needs to happen? How can it work? And all sorts of different plans were possible, and it just so happens that we found a way to possibly, in one fell swoop, get a whole lot better and get on the road to getting better. And I absolutely recognize that the names coming back in a potential trade are not names that people are familiar with, but in the baseball world, people are familiar with them. And so as far as I'm concerned, what I really hope will happen and what we plan on happening is winning more games. Each year, starting to win more games, and that's what we want to do.
Before we get into the tougher questions and the hostility that surrounds the franchise, though, the anatomy of a trade, how did it begin, David? Like, was it, okay, we need to get rid of John Buck's contract, and then it started stacking up? Like, how did this begin, this particular trade to the Blue Jays?
Well, I was just thinking about some of the calls we had during the season when the team wasn't playing well and we were losing all those games, and I remember very well that our fans spoke to us, and they said they were not happy with what we were doing and with the team and what the team was doing. So we said that what can we do and where can we start and what kind of flexibility do we need going forward? And we just started, we, meaning the baseball guys, started talking around, and all of a sudden something possibly came to fruition.
Any part of you embarrassed today, David?
You know, if to lose 93 games was the most embarrassing thing, far more embarrassing than this. Putting together a team in 2012 that we expected to win, and the fact that they didn't, that was the most embarrassing. I think that when we made the managerial decision, when we made the player decisions that we made last year, we could not have dreamt that our season would have ended that way. So we said, listen, it's time to change. So embarrassed if our team is as bad next year as it was last year.
What do you say to the people who feel betrayed? And they've got a right to feel betrayed, David.
I think that people should feel betrayed by the fact that we're losing so much. And I would think that they wouldn't want us to stand pat and keep losing, because I hope that's what everybody wants, and that's what we want. We didn't think it would happen so many years in a row that we finish in last place, but we don't want to be one of those teams that for 20 years doesn't win 81 games or whatever the number is, or doesn't make the playoffs. We've already gone 10 years without making the playoffs. Too much. So I absolutely understand that. On the positive side, it's a great ballpark, and now we need a great team to go with it, and we thought we had it last year, and the evidence was overwhelming that we didn't.
But, David, what do you do with the following, okay? This is what's happened here, and this is what it feels like. Because people don't trust you because of everything that happened in Montreal, because of people not trusting this franchise, because that everything that's happened with you guys here and without you guys here, what it looks like is that you got a stadium, you got your deal, and you pulled the equivalent of like a Ponzi scheme, where it's a bait and switch, where a year after spending it, you sold everybody a sham. You say what to those people? They are legion right now in South Florida.
Yeah, what I say to them is we spent it wrong, and it showed with everything around, off the field and on the field. We didn't approach anything that we needed to approach correctly in terms of on the field or off the field, and I don't blame more fans for not coming out, because who wants to see 93 losses? But the fact is that we think we have a young team now that is maybe hungrier and should win more. So I say to them, the difference obviously with Montreal, there was no ballpark, there was no future. There is a long-term future for baseball in Miami, and that's what the ballpark has been about and has always been about, was making sure that an all-star game can come to Miami, making sure that generations will see baseball. And there's going to be losing seasons over the course of years. You just want to try to curb it with as few as possible. And in our opinion, we're having too many in a row.
But, David, you don't have a pitching staff right now. I mean, Ricky Nolasco's your ace. Last year at this time, the vision was, okay, Josh Johnson and Anibal Sanchez and Mark Burley are going to carry us. That's what was being sold a year ago. Why should anybody trust you guys after that? A year later, you're telling us, oh, never mind.
Oh, because that's exactly what we said, and that's exactly what did not happen. That's the whole issue. If we had all those starters pitching to where we thought they would pitch, then I don't think we're losing 93 games. So that's my exact point. So you're right. You may not know the name Jacob Turner, or you may not know the name Anderson Alvarez, or you may not know the name Nathan Eovaldi, but the fact of the matter is, we think we're in better position to win more games. So I hear you, it's the names. But at the end of the day, the names added up to 93 losses. So shame on us if we go at it the same way.
But why should people trust you guys, David? There's so little reason to trust this management team. Like, why should anybody trust you guys?
Do you mean trusting the fact that we chose the right players? Now, I will give you that we obviously haven't been choosing the right players recently. But the faith that we have in our scouts and in our upper baseball management to come to our fans with names of players who can win more games, we still have that faith. We've been with them a long time, and they were a big part of how we got a World Series ring in 2003. So we have to trust them. Obviously, if we bring in a new group of pitchers and we lose the same 93 games, that's not great.
David Samson with us on the ticket. David, give us an idea. Right now, you're on the hook for about $16 million. You shaved more than $100 million of payroll yesterday. Give us an idea of what the payroll is going to be next year.
Yeah, those numbers aren't right, Dan. Both sets of what you said are not accurate. So,
well, right now, you've got to go to arbitration with guys. But right now, as we stand here today, it's $16 million that you have on the books. I know that that's not what it's going to be next season, but what will it be?
I'm not sure what range the payroll will end up at, but I know that we will have the players in place where we believe we'll do better than last year. And that's what it's about. We tried the higher payroll and ended up losing more games. So whatever the payroll is, the real important part is having better players.
But David,
that's really what it's about.
David, do you understand when I ask you that question and you don't give me a number and a payroll goes from over 100?
It's been 10 years, Dan. 10 years that our team and most teams don't talk about a final payroll number for whatever reason. And our reason is that it's really not relevant. The final number that matters at the end of the day last year wasn't our payroll. It was 69 and 93. Because at the end, that's all anyone focuses on. And if there are fans out there who are happy at a high payroll at 69 and 93, then those fans we're not aligned with. If they're fans, and there were a lot of them who were not happy with the 69 and 93, those are fans we align with.
But this is why it's relevant, David. When a ballpark is publicly funded, here's why it's relevant. If they don't know, fans don't know that the payroll is going to be large, then it sounds like you're just lining your pockets after a year with their money.
Yeah, but I think everyone who knows that can't be true, because everyone looked at the ballpark last year and everyone saw the fact that the team wasn't winning and the games weren't selling out. Even the Red Sox games weren't selling out. So obviously we have to do something different. So, and as far as publicly funded, obviously it was a public-private partnership. But let's not forget how much money Jeffrey Loria himself put in, over $160 million of his money to get a ballpark built, which has been a very positive thing and will continue to be long after all of us are gone. All of us.
What was your reaction to Stanton getting so angry on Twitter?
Honestly, I had none. He's a good young player, very good young player, and I don't expect players to be anything other than emotional. I get that, and that was that. I didn't even call him about it.
How did the news go over with the players as you told them that you were trading them? Because now you've got a free agency problem, David, and I know you think you can solve it by just giving the most money, that players will come and grab the most money. But why? If Burley and Reyes thought they were signing up for more than a year in Miami and then are traded after a year, I think you've got a free agency problem going forward. Why am I wrong?
Yeah, because I think that at the end of the day, players do come where the money is, and that's okay. And listen, I spoke to Mark Burley, and he said he was sorry things didn't work out. I said, I'm as sorry as you are that things didn't work out. If that's truly how I feel. I mean, if there was a year to not lose 93, it was last year, and it was just the perfect storm, starting with, the Castro comments, moving to the fact that we couldn't win a game. It all snowballed. So that was the tone, and he's the only one I spoke to. Larry spoke to the others.
Let's take a break here, and the questions will get more difficult. I know you want to see the president of the Marlins squirm. Difficult day for the Marlins. A lot of people feeling hostile, really hostile, and it's understandable. Today feels like a day of betrayal. We continue with the president of the Marlins after this. You're listening to